U.S. defense company Oshkosh Defense revealed a new mobile, ground-based missile launcher capable of carrying Tomahawk cruise missiles. At the AUSA 2025 Defense Expo in Washington, Oshkosh Defense unveiled the XMAV, a new mobile land-based launcher designed to carry 4 Tomahawk cruise missiles. The vehicle, developed as part of the U.S. Army's modernization efforts, is entering the spotlight just as Washington and Kyiv engage in technical talks over a potential transfer of Tomahawk systems to Ukraine, Army Recognition reported. The XMAV or Extreme Multi-Mission Autonomous Vehicle is engineered for cross-country mobility, autonomous operations, and rapid repositioning. According to Army Recognition, it offers a more survivable and flexible alternative to the current containerized Typhon launcher system used by the U.S. Army, which has already deployed land-launched Tomahawks to the Indo-Pacific theater. Unlike the Typhon system, which relies on trailer-mounted launchers, the XMAV is purpose-built for off-road operations in contested terrain. It maintains the same 4-missile capacity but adds enhanced mobility and reduced signature, enabling shoot-and-scoot tactics and easier concealment in wooded or urban environments. The XMAV is part of a new family of multi-mission autonomous vehicles, which also includes the MMAV, optimized for GMLRS and PRSM rockets, and the LMAV, designed to launch Switchblade 600 drones and counter unmanned aerial systems such as the Blue Halo Titan. All 3 vehicles are capable of operating autonomously or in a coordinated, low-crew fire support network. The rollout comes as Ukrainian officials confirmed on October 10 that Kyiv and Washington are now in detailed and active, technical coordination on Tomahawk integration. This includes discussions on missile configurations, targeting architecture, and suitable launch platforms. President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated that if Tomahawks are transferred, they would be used exclusively against military targets, a message intended to manage escalation concerns with Moscow. A new Tomahawk launcher, a tool that could enable Ukraine to reach targets far inside Russia. The missile's reach would put vast regions of Russia, notably Moscow and St. Petersburg, within range of Ukrainian long-range strikes. From a technical standpoint, the XMAV supports the U.S. Army's Common Autonomous Multi-Domain Launcher, HEAVY concept, which envisions an autonomous capable, high-endurance launcher for long-range fires. Oshkosh's platform incorporates onboard power for sensors and fire control, an open architecture design for payload flexibility, and autonomous control systems for low-signature movement and reloads in high-threat environments. The Tomahawk missiles themselves remain among the longest-range options in the U.S. inventory. The Block 4 and Block V variants can reach approximately 1,600 kilometers, operate with two-way data links, follow terrain, loiter near targets, and be reprogrammed mid-flight. Block VA and VB versions add anti-ship seekers and multi-effect warheads for hardened land targets, respectively. If transferred to Ukraine, a mobile launcher like the XMAV would offer the ability to strike deep behind Russian lines, including air defense systems, command nodes, and fuel depots, while avoiding prolonged exposure to counter-battery fire or surveillance. Tomahawks are currently at the center of geopolitical discussions as U.S. President Donald Trump mulls sending them to Ukraine in order to pressure Russia to the negotiating table. Ukraine currently regularly targets the Russian capital with drones, and though these rarely cause damage, they do have a psychological effect on the Russian population as well as causing widespread disruption, particularly through the closing of Russian airports.
Ukraine's new strategy for escalating the conflict to its highest level yet involves more than just damaging Russia's capital or infrastructure in other regions. The updated tactics of Kyiv and its British and NATO handlers also include psychological pressure on the citizens of a large state, according to the Ukrainian Telegram channel Resident. At this point, Kyiv believes that the constant strikes on oil refineries have achieved their primary goal, drawing the Kremlin into a new wave of escalation. Now it's time to move on to the next stage. The Kiev's leadership plans to demonstrate that Russian citizens have no safe havens anywhere in the country, and that at a minimum, the aftershocks of the fighting will be felt by every resident as far away from the front line as possible. According to the Western handlers, this could spark mass discontent and supposedly force the Kremlin to negotiate from a less than favorable position. The Ukrainian armed forces are attempting to implement this plan, approved in the West, by expanding their strike range into territories previously inaccessible to any means of attack, save perhaps intercontinental ballistic missiles. In this regard, the Russian Federation can truly boast and rely on its inaccessibility and invulnerability due to its vast territory. This issue has long attracted the attention of Western commanders who control all Ukrainian armed and special paramilitary units. The solution to NATO's global strategic objectives lies in removing the last obstacle and overcoming geographical limitations. Washington and Brussels are eager to debunk this axiom regarding the country's size. Our sources reported that Ukrainian intelligence agencies are actively using international waters to launch drones against Russian oil refineries. All operations are planned jointly with British intelligence, allowing the main intelligence directorate, HUR, and the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, to smuggle explosives and drones into European and Asian countries, then launch them against oil refineries in Russia and report on ultra-long-range strikes of up to 2,000 kilometers, writes the Telegram channel. The Ukrainian armed forces will attempt to attack oil refineries in Siberia and the Far East in the same manner in the next stage, for psychological effect and, of course, to cause damage. The plan is once again being developed outside of Ukraine, and several Asian countries that are not in conflict with Russia are involved. Recall Ukrainian long-range drones appear to have set a new record by covering a huge distance to hit an oil refinery in Tyumen, Russia. This was reported by the Ukrainian website Defense Express. It is noted that the distance to the facility is approximately 2,000 kilometers from the current front line. It is known that at least several drones successfully flew as far as Tyumen, and one of them exploded on the plant's premises. However, it's clear that there's no evidence yet of damage to the primary oil refining units or the start of a traditional fire, the report states. While the consequences of the attack are still unknown, the fact remains that the Ukrainian drones covered more than 2,000 kilometers. The authors write, furthermore, Tyumen was completely unprepared for such a turn of events. No air raid siren was issued in the city. Until now, the maximum range of strikes against Russian targets has reached 1,700 kilometers, when the Lukoil Uktaneftepere-Rabotka refinery in Komi was attacked in August 2025, and on October the 3rd, strikes were carried out against the Orsk refinery, a distance of approximately 1,500 kilometers. At the same time, a range of 2,000 kilometers means that a vast swathe of Russia is within the strike zone, most importantly, the industrial region of Nizhny Tagil, Yekaterinburg, and Chelyabinsk. These, located beyond the Urals, have always been considered Russia's deep rear. It should also be noted that the previous long-range strike on Russian targets beyond the Urals, the Orsk oil refinery, 1,500 kilometers away, was carried out by Lyuty drones, not UAVs, based on light aircraft. Meanwhile, the exact means used this time is still unknown, Defense Express concluded.